So I got invited to a YouTube channel that I love. I love the ladies who host it, and I got to share some parts of my life, especially in the motherhood section. And I figured I'd also come and share the same with you here, or parts of that interview here with you. So I got invited to discuss this whole thing of being a child celebrity, as they had termed it, and how did I manage to sort of grow up in the limelight and not be scathed by scandals or all sorts of pressures. But also too, they were asking me if how I was raised is going to inform how I raise my son, Liam. And you'll have to watch their channel for the details. I don't want to take away their nice numbers. But it gave me a bit of thinking, and I said, okay, I need to just talk to them about this. Helen Lokoma, lovely, lovely girl. I mean, I know Helen. Helen and I went to school together at university. Helen and I, obviously being she's an entertainer, I'm in the TV world, we know each other. I wouldn't say we are tight friends, but when I had my son, it was in the middle of the pandemic, COVID-19. We were in lockdown, and I think her child at the time, her son was maybe 7 months or thereabout. Helen reached out. Yeah. Of course, I don't think she'll be surprised I even said this, but she reached out to me privately and said, how is everything going? Are you well? How are you adjusting? What's happening to you? How can I help? How can I advise? And I found myself, we were talking, we just got into talking about just postpartum depression, just different things that are happening at the time. I think my son was about maybe 3 weeks old. And after the conversations, I sat back and I said, wow, you judge people, because I had never imagined that Helen Lokoma would be the person I'd be having a heart-to-heart about motherhood with. But I appreciated that it was so big of her to even say, that's another woman who has a child who might be going through what I went through. Let me call her and reach out. So I'm forever grateful. So anyway, I'm on Facebook and I'm checking out Helen posting something. She posted a video of her son, and it's her choice to do that. But women were so mean. I mean, for me, I can't fathom anyone, man or woman, being that mean. But then it hurts me sometimes a lot more when a fellow woman, could be a mother, probably is a mother, can come and call your child ugly, sick. This child looks like it has a disease, and you're thinking, okay, so let's say your criminal mind, I call it a criminal mind, let's say your criminal mind thought it. But where's the energy to type it and click post? As in, the world can see Flavia commented this way. What happens? Where are the consequences in all of this? So I was hurt. Like, once I saw the first comment, I said, what? And I felt for her. And it brought me to that. It brought me to that conversation I had with the ladies of Bump Love about what my life of growing up will inform into my parenting of my son. And I think social media or people's pressures or anything, because I remember when I put up a vlog on motherhood, a lot of feedback, because a lot of women had either been through it or were saying, you know what, based on what you've shared, I'm probably prepared a lot more for motherhood. And I appreciate all the love that came there. But one or two people said, but show us Liam. And I won't lie, at some point I figured, you know what, I'm going to just, maybe if he's a year old, we talked with the dad and said, maybe someday we'll show him. We're not hiding him, but because we've been in the middle of, I wouldn't even call it feedback, in the middle of insults, when people just say anything they want about you on social media, because they don't know you, So what they know is just a shadow of you, a figment of their imagination, and they abuse that figment. So imagine your child getting all this flack. I reflected back to when I was 14, 15 on TV, the backlash that came when I was at 19, 18, at the time when I should have been a young girl enjoying my life, making mistakes, learning from them. But no, because you're so guarded, because you don't want people to say certain things about you. You don't want things to follow you when you're an adult. So you live your life in fear. You live in a box. You live guarded. You live, as people used to call me, uptight, stuck up, because you can't do much. You can't. Whilst you envy the person who really had a good time, she got up on the table and said, hey, you can't do it. You understand? Because of who you are in society. Now, of course, I don't regret it that much because I'm happy with my life. But I said to myself, in this era of social media, in this era where someone who's 15 has 2 million followers, and you're like, where do these people find you? Like, how do they know you? How do you have 600,000 people following you? What are you possibly telling them at your age? But that's the reality, guys. That's the reality. We're raising children in a generation where someone from Mali is discussing with someone from Brazil, is having a DM conversation with, I don't know, someone from Uganda. Like, that's how it is. Look at this vlog. We're from everywhere and anywhere. That's just how close the world is. And we're going to be raising children in this generation. And I said, if I thought mine was bad, if I thought the pressures of my generation were bad and heavy on me, imagine for my son. And so while we're having that conversation with the ladies, I reflected and I said, you know what? I've got to be tougher. And I see why when entertainers are asked, would you like your child to also take in your footsteps, maybe be an actor or an actress or a musician? They will say, no. Because you know the pressures that come with it. You know the overwhelm my child will feel. So it's almost like, no, please, go and be somewhere behind a desk. Just, I don't know, go and study, I don't know what degree, because you want them as far away and protected as much. I'm going to sort of contradict myself as I wrap, because also in thinking about it, I said, why should I choose for my son? Do you know what I mean? That's the generation we come from. Our parents chose for us. You shall be a doctor. You shall be a lawyer. We are a family of engineers. How dare you do something different? So in fear of how the online world bullies, are we going to now tell our children what to do? Are we going to repeat the cycle that we don't like from our families and our parents? No. So I now, of course, it's food for thought for me and food for thought for you if you're a parent or want parent to be. How are you going to raise your children in this generation where everything is too accessible, where right or wrong is accessible? So even at a young age when they can't discern right from wrong, they have it there. They don't have that time when we went through, you shall wait at 13, talk to your child about this, at 15, talk, nothing. By 10, ooh, do you see what I mean? So how are you preparing yourself? Because for me, that's now the homework I have. That's the task I have ahead of me. How will I raise my son in this generation, knowing what I know from my generation and now what happens to theirs? How? How is the question. Good luck, parents.